If you're over 60 and walking is the main exercise you rely on to stay healthy, you need to watch this. Walking is good for you. It keeps you moving, gets you out of the house, supports circulation, and can be one of the simplest ways to stay active as you get older. So, this is not a message telling you to stop walking, but there is a problem. Walking alone may not protect one of the things you need most as you age, your strength. For decades, many older adults have been told that walking is the ideal exercise after 60. Walk every morning. Count your steps. Try to reach a certain distance. Keep moving and you'll stay strong. Yet you may have noticed something confusing. You can walk almost every day and still find it harder to rise from a low chair. Stairs may require more effort than they used to. Carrying groceries can feel heavier. Your legs may tire faster. Music. And sometimes you reach for a railing or a piece of furniture without even thinking about it. So, how can someone be walking regularly and still feel weaker? The answer has very little to do with how many steps you take. There's another type of movement your body needs, music, after 60. And it becomes increasingly important with every passing year. Music challenges the muscles that help you stand, climb, balance, and catch yourself when you lose your footing. You don't need dumbbells, resistance machines, expensive equipment, or an hour-long workout. In fact, you probably already have everything you need sitting somewhere in your home right now. All you need is a sturdy chair and a few minutes. The exercise I'm going to show you today looks so ordinary that many people don't even think of it as exercise. Music. You may already perform the movement several times every day without realizing how powerful it can become when you do it deliberately and correctly. Done consistently, it can help train some of the largest and most important muscles in your lower music body. The muscles you depend on every time you get out of bed, stand up from the dinner table, climb a flight of stairs, or walk confidently across a room. And later in this video, I'll show you exactly how to perform it step by step, including where to place your feet, how to position your body, how slowly you should move, and how to make it easier if you're just beginning. Music. I'll also show you how to modify the movement if your knees or back are sensitive, because the goal is not to force your body through pain. The goal is to start at a level you can manage safely and build from there. Before we go any further, let me know in the comments, how old are you, and what part of the world are you watching from today? I always enjoy seeing how far this community reaches. And if you're over music 60 and want simple, practical ways to stay strong, mobile, and independent, subscribe, snorts, to the channel and turn on notifications. But before I reveal the exercise, you need to understand why walking, even though it remains an excellent habit, music can leave an important gap in your fitness after 60. Age-related muscle loss, often called sarcopenia, after 60. This matters because muscle isn't just something you need for lifting weights or looking fit. It is what helps you stand up, stabilize your body, climb stairs, carry groceries, recover when you stumble, and continue doing ordinary things without depending on someone else. The difficult part is that this loss can happen quietly. You don't wake up one morning and suddenly notice that a large amount of strength has disappeared. Music. Instead, the changes tend to show up in small moments. Maybe you start using both hands to push yourself out of a chair. Maybe you avoid the stairs when an elevator is available. Perhaps you carry grocery bags one at a time instead of two. You may notice that getting out of the car requires a little more effort. Music. Or that after sitting for a long time, your first few steps don't feel as steady as they once did. Individually, these changes may seem minor. Put them together, however, and they can be signs that your body is losing some of the strength it once relied on automatically. And this explains why walking every day doesn't always solve the problem. Walking is still valuable. It keeps your legs moving, supports cardiovascular fitness, encourages circulation, and helps you remain active rather than sedentary. Music. For many people, a daily walk is one of the healthiest music habits they can maintain. But walking and strength training ask different things from your muscles. Think about a route you've walked hundreds of times. Your body becomes very efficient at covering that distance. That's useful for endurance. But the muscles may no longer receive enough resistance to encourage meaningful improvements. Music in strength. Your body adapts to what you ask it to do. If you ask it to walk, it becomes better at walking. But if you want to preserve the ability to generate music force, to push yourself up from a chair, control your body as you lower yourself, climb a step, or recover your balance, Your muscles also need to be challenged. Music, against resistance, against resistance. Imagine two people who both walk for 30 minutes, music, every morning. From the outside, they may appear equally active, but one can rise easily from a dining music chair without using their hands, while the other has to lean forward, push hard, music, against the armrests, and pause for a moment before taking the first step. Their walking habits may look similar, but their functional strength is not. And functional strength is what matters when real life asks something unexpected from you. A curb is slightly higher than you expected. You need to stand up from a low sofa. You lose your footing and have to quickly stabilize yourself. You need to carry something across the house while remaining balanced. In moments like these, step count alone cannot help you. Your body needs enough strength, coordination, music, and balance to respond. This is why leg strength becomes so important to maintaining independence as we age. Strong legs help you rise from a chair without assistance. Music, strong hips help stabilize you as you move. A stronger core helps control your trunk, while better balance gives you more confidence when changing direction or moving through unfamiliar environments. When those abilities decline, something else often happens. People begin adjusting their lives around their weakness. They stop using certain stairs. They choose chairs with armrests because standing from a softer seat has become difficult. They walk shorter distances. They may hesitate to go somewhere alone because they're unsure whether they'll be able to manage the physical demands. Little by little, the problem becomes larger than weak muscles. It can begin to affect freedom. Music, that's the reason the goal after 60 shouldn't simply be to keep moving. It should be to preserve the strength that allows you to keep doing the movements that make an independent life possible. Music first out. And this doesn't mean you need to become a bodybuilder or start lifting heavy weights. Your muscles don't know whether resistance comes from an expensive machine or something much simpler. They respond to being challenged appropriately, music, and consistently. In fact, one of the most useful strength-building movements for everyday life is something you already do repeatedly. Music. Every time you get out of a chair, your legs and hips have to produce enough force, music, to move much of your body weight upward against gravity. And every time you sit back down under control, those same muscles have to work to prevent you from simply dropping into the seat. Music. Turn that ordinary movement into a deliberate exercise, and suddenly something you've done your entire life becomes a practical way to train the music exact strength you want to preserve. That brings us to the movement I promised you at the beginning, and that movement is the chair squat. A chair squat, music, is simply the act of standing up from a chair and sitting back down again, but doing it slowly, deliberately, music, and with enough control that your muscles, rather than momentum, do the work. Music. It sounds almost too simple to be called exercise, but think about what your body actually has to accomplish every time you stand. Your thighs, music, have to straighten your knees. Your hips and glutes have to generate enough force to lift your body upward. Music. Your core has to stabilize your trunk so you don't collapse forward or sway from side to side. Your ankles and feet make constant small adjustments to keep you balanced, as your music center of gravity moves from the chair to your feet. In one ordinary movement, you're asking several of the most important muscle groups in your body, music, to work together. And unlike an exercise that trains a movement you rarely use outside a workout, this music one directly practices something you may need dozens of times throughout an ordinary day. You use this pattern when you get out of bed in the morning. You use it when you rise from the toilet, get out of a car, music, stand after dinner, or get up from the sofa to answer the door. A similar combination of leg and hip strength helps when climbing stairs, stepping onto a curb, or recovering your balance after an unexpected stumble. Music. That's what makes the chair squat so useful after 60. You're not simply exercising for the sake of exercise. Music. You're strengthening a movement that helps you remain capable in everyday life. Now, let me show you how to do it safely. First, choose a sturdy chair that will not slide or roll. Avoid anything with wheels. Music. And if possible, place the chair against a wall so it feels secure. Sit toward the front portion of the seat rather than leaning all the way back. Place both feet flat on the floor, roughly shoulder-width apart. Your feet should be positioned so that you feel stable, not as though you're balancing on your toes. Keep your chest comfortably tall, relax your shoulders, music, and look straight ahead rather than down at the floor. Now, gently lean your upper body forward from the hips. Music. This doesn't mean rounding your back or collapsing your chest. Music. Think of bringing your chest slightly forward so that your body weight begins moving over your feet. Then press through your feet and stand. Music. Music. Tap the upper six strings at new jump. Move your body forward. Don't bounce off the chair. Don't rush. Let your legs do the work. Once you're standing, come to a comfortable upright position. You don't need to force your knees backward or exaggerate the movement. Music. Simply stand tall and steady for a moment. Then comes the part many people overlook. Sitting down matters just as much as standing up. Music. Instead of dropping quickly into the chair, push your hips slightly backward, bend your knees, and lower yourself slowly. Keep your movement controlled until you gently make contact with the seat. Then repeat. That controlled lowering forces your muscles to continue working instead of allowing gravity to do everything. Music for you. If you can stand without using your hands, that's excellent. You can keep your hands in front of music, you, or cross your arms comfortably over your chest. But if you cannot do that yet, don't turn the exercise into a test of pride. Music. Use support. Place your hands lightly on the armrests or, if appropriate for your setup, use your hands on your thighs to assist yourself. Music. As your legs improve, you may gradually rely less on your hands. For someone who has been inactive for a long time, 3 to 5 careful repetitions may be enough at first. Someone else may comfortably perform 5, 10, music, or even 15. There is no prize for matching another person's music number. Especially when you're starting, pay attention to the quality of the movement instead. Can you stand without rushing? Can you remain steady at the top? Can you lower yourself without dropping into the chair? Can you finish your repetitions while maintaining comfortable breathing and control? And this is where one of the biggest mistakes in exercise after 60 often appears. People assume that if a little exercise is helpful, then doing much more must be even better. So, they begin too aggressively. They perform too many repetitions, become excessively sore or uncomfortable, and then stop for several days. Sometimes they become discouraged and abandon the exercise completely. A much better approach is to begin below your maximum and give your body time to adapt. Remember, consistency is more important than intensity. 5 controlled repetitions performed regularly can be far more useful than 20 rush repetitions followed by a week of doing nothing. Your body changes because of the signal you repeatedly give it. Each time you stand from the chair under control, you're asking your thighs, hips, and glutes to produce force. Each time you lower yourself slowly, you're asking those muscles to control your body weight. Each time you remain balanced through the movement, you're giving your nervous system another opportunity to practice coordination and stability. Repeat that signal consistently, and your body has a reason to adapt. Now, what if your knees are sensitive? This is where the chair becomes especially helpful because the movement can be adjusted. You don't necessarily have to begin from a low seat. A slightly higher, stable chair can reduce how far you need to lower music yourself. You can also use your hands for assistance and work only within a comfortable range. If standing all the way up and sitting all the way down is difficult, focus first on practicing the portion of the movement you can control safely. The same principle applies if your lower back feels stiff or sensitive. Keep the movement slow, avoid collapsing music forward, and maintain a comfortable, controlled posture rather than trying to force yourself into a position that doesn't feel right. Exercise can require effort. Your muscles may feel like they're working, and mild fatigue can occur. But sharp, sudden, or worsening pain is different. Don't treat pain as proof that an exercise is working. If a movement hurts, stop and reassess rather than forcing your way through it. And if you have significant joint problems, a recent surgery, major balance difficulties, or a medical condition that affects exercise safety, getting individualized guidance from a qualified healthcare professional is the sensible place to start. There's another reason I like this movement for older adults. Progress is easy to notice in real life. You may begin by using both hands to stand. After some consistent practice, perhaps you only need one. Eventually, you may notice yourself getting out of your favorite chair without thinking about your hands at all. Or you might realize that standing after a meal feels easier. Music. The stairs don't seem quite as demanding. You feel steadier when you first get up in the morning. Those improvements may sound small, but they represent exactly what we're trying to protect. Independence is rarely lost all at once. Often it becomes harder one everyday movement at a time. The opposite can also be true. Strength can be rebuilt one everyday movement at a time. So, don't worry about performing an impressive workout. You don't need 50 repetitions. You don't need to exhaust yourself, and you certainly don't need to compete with someone 20 years younger. Start where you are. If that's 3 repetitions, do 3 good repetitions. If 5 feels comfortable, begin with 5. If you're already active and 10 or 15 controlled repetitions feel appropriate, that's fine too. What matters is that you return to the movement consistently and give yourself enough time to improve. Music? You can practice it several times per week, and for some people, a small, comfortable amount can fit naturally into a daily routine. Music. The right amount depends on your current ability, recovery, health, and how your body responds. Once the basic chair squat begins to feel comfortable, the next step isn't necessarily to do more repetitions. Music. Music, Fritzrent. In fact, one of the easiest ways to make this exercise more effective is simply to slow it down. The next time you lower yourself toward the chair, try taking about 3 seconds to sit. 1, 2, 3. Then gently touch the seat and stand back up at a comfortable pace. Instead of allowing gravity to pull you into the chair, your thighs, hips, and glutes have to keep working throughout music, the entire lowering phase. You're asking your muscles to control your body weight for longer without adding dumbbells, machines, music, or complicated equipment. Once that feels manageable, there's another simple progression you can try. As you lower yourself, stop just above the chair for a brief moment before sitting down. You don't need to hold the position for 5 or 10 seconds. Even a short pause can make the movement more challenging because your muscles have to keep you, music, stable at the point where you might normally relax and let the chair catch you. Then sit down gently. Music. And if either of these variations makes you lose control, causes discomfort, or forces you to hold your breath, return to the basic version. Breathing can help with that control as well. A simple pattern is music, to gently breathe out as you stand and breathe in as you lower yourself back toward the chair. Avoid deliberately holding your breath through the repetition. You don't have to obsess over perfect timing. The important music thing is to keep breathing naturally and avoid turning a simple strength exercise into a tense struggle. Now comes perhaps the most important part of making chair squats useful, finding a way to actually keep doing them. Instead of waiting until you feel motivated, attach your chair squats to something that already happens every day. Maybe you do a few repetitions before breakfast. Nice. Music. Perhaps you practice them after your morning coffee, before your daily walk, or when you stand up after watching your favorite television program. You could even choose one particular sturdy chair in your home as your reminder. Whenever you reach that point in your routine, you know it's time for a few slow, controlled repetitions. And remember the principle we talked about earlier. Consistency matters more than intensity. If chair squats are so useful after 60, does that mean you should stop walking and replace your daily walk with this exercise? Absolutely not. Walking and chair squats don't need to compete with each other because they serve different purposes. Walking remains one of the simplest forms of physical activity available to many older adults. It gets you moving for an extended period, supports cardiovascular fitness, helps circulation, and gives you an opportunity to spend time outdoors. And there's another benefit that shouldn't be underestimated. Walking can be good for your mind. A quiet walk in the morning can help clear your thoughts. Walking with a spouse, friend, music, neighbor, or family member creates social connection. Even a short walk outside can break up long periods of sitting, music, and bring variety into your day. Those are meaningful benefits. Music, and nothing we've discussed in this video, takes them away. The limitation appears when walking is expected to do everything. Walking gives your body repeated movement. Music. Chair squats give your muscles a different challenge, producing and controlling force against your own body weight. Walking can support your endurance. Chair squats can help train the thighs, hips, glutes, and core. Music. That allow you to use that endurance more effectively in everyday life. Walking helps you keep going. Strength. Music helps you handle the moments when life asks you to push, rise, stabilize, or catch yourself. Think of it this way. Suppose you enjoy a 20-minute walk every morning. There's no reason to give that up. Instead, before you leave the house, music, you might perform a small number of controlled chair squats. Or you could do them after you return and have had a moment to settle. Music. Music routine might simply become and walk regularly for your general activity and cardiovascular fitness. M. Practice a manageable amount of chair squats regularly for music, strength, and control. That's it. As your legs become stronger, standing and climbing may feel easier. Music. Better control around your hips and legs may help you feel more confident during everyday movement. Music. And because you're still walking, you're continuing to practice the endurance needed to stay active for longer periods. Music. So, if there's one thing I hope you remember from this video, it's this. Getting older does not mean you should stop challenging your muscles. It means giving them the kind of challenge, music, that helps you keep doing the things that matter. Walking is still a wonderful habit. Music. Music camps. Keep taking those morning walks. Keep enjoying the fresh air, the movement, and the time outside. But don't rely on walking alone to preserve the strength your everyday life depends on. Add a few chair squats. Start with 3. Music, if that's what feels manageable. Start with 5 if you can. Use your hands for support. Music if you need them. Move slowly and never compare your starting point with someone else's. What matters, music, is that you begin and that you keep coming back, because the real goal isn't to perform more repetitions or prove how fit you, music, are. The goal is to stand up from your favorite chair without needing help, to climb the stairs with confidence, to carry your own groceries, to get out of the car comfortably, to walk through your home without constantly searching for something, music to hold on to. The goal is freedom. And sometimes protecting that freedom, music, begins with something as simple as standing up and sitting back down. So tomorrow morning when you see that chair, don't think of it only as a place to sit. Think of it as an opportunity to remind your body, I still need these muscles. I still want to move. I still want to remain capable. Music. A few minutes may not seem like much today, but repeated week after week and month after month, small habits can become music of a stronger, more active life. If you stayed with me until the end, leave the word strong in the comments. Music. It lets me know you're committed to protecting your strength and independence after 60. And tell me this as well. Are you going to add your squats to your daily routine? If this video helped you, subscribe to the channel and share it with someone in your life who still believes walking is all they need after 60. You may give them one more simple tool for staying strong and independent. Keep walking. Keep building strength. Keep showing up for your body, because after 60, the goal isn't simply to add more years to your life. Music. It's to protect your ability to live those years on your own terms.